On our vacation, she leaned over and whispered, "Guess we only got the basic package." My ex would have gone for the platinum one. I smiled and said, "Let me fix that." I then called the front desk, canceled our basic room, and used the refund to buy a one-way first-class ticket home for myself. Her tearful calls from the hotel lobby were my new favorite playlist. All right, I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not one for drama. Most of my friends would describe me as chill, maybe even too laid back. My mother says I'm conflict avoidant to a fault, but there comes a point where even the chillest person needs to draw a line. And apparently mine is being compared to an ex while standing in a resort lobby in Maui. I, 37M, met Vanessa about a year ago at a friend's housewarming party. She was stunning, tall, athletic with this infectious laugh that made everyone want to be in on the joke. We hit it off immediately, talking for hours about everything from obscure 80s movies to our shared love of kayaking. Things moved pretty quickly after that. Within 3 months, we were practically living together at my place. I own a small but decent house just outside the city, and by 6 months, we were talking about future plans. I'm not usually one to rush into things, but when you know, or so I thought. The thing about Vanessa is that she comes from money, like serious money. Her father owns a chain of car dealerships across 3 states, and she grew up with the kind of privilege I can't even fathom. Meanwhile, I'm a civil engineer who makes a good living, but certainly not multiple vacation homes money. This disparity never seemed to be an issue. If anything, she would joke about how refreshing it was to date someone who wasn't trying to access her trust fund. For our 1-year anniversary, I wanted to do something special. I've been saving for months to take us to Hawaii. Not an easy feat on my salary, but I managed to put together enough for a decent 7-day stay in Maui. Not 5-star luxury, but a perfectly nice beachfront resort with good reviews. I was proud of this trip. It represented months of careful budgeting and planning. One thing I'd done right was purchase comprehensive travel insurance. My buddy works in the industry and always insists it's worth the extra cost. "You never know what might happen," he'd said. If only he knew how prophetic those words would be. When I told Vanessa about the trip, she seemed genuinely excited. She'd been to Hawaii many times before, but said she was thrilled to experience it through fresh eyes with me. She even offered to contribute, but I declined. This was my gift to her, and I wanted to cover it. We arrived in Maui last Monday. The flight was long but uneventful, and we were both buzzing with excitement as we took the shuttle to the resort. The place was exactly as advertised, clean, well-maintained with a beautiful view of the ocean. Not the Ritz-Carlton, but hardly a Motel 6 either. The check-in process was smooth with the friendly desk clerk explaining the amenities included in our package: access to the main pool and beach, complimentary breakfast, and a welcome cocktail at the bar. She mentioned there were other packages available with additional perks like spa credits and exclusive access to the adults-only infinity pool, but ours was the standard option. That's when I felt Vanessa stiffen beside me. As we walked away from the desk toward the elevators, she leaned close and whispered, "This is the basic package." Jason would have gotten a platinum. Jason, her ex, the investment banker she dated for 2 years before me, the guy who apparently still occupied prime real estate in her head. I froze mid-step, my luggage handle suddenly very interesting as I processed what she just said. "Excuse me." She must have realized how it sounded, because she quickly backpedaled. "Oh, I didn't mean anything by it. Just making an observation. This is great, really." But the damage was done. In that moment, something inside me just clicked or maybe unclicked. Like a switch being flipped, turning off whatever rose-colored filter I'd been seeing our relationship through. Because this wasn't the first comment of its kind. There was the time she mentioned how Jason would have known to make reservations at that trendy restaurant weeks in advance. The offhand remark about Jason's BMW being smoother than my Honda. The way she'd sometimes look at my modest house and say she found it refreshingly cozy compared to the luxury condo she shared with, you guessed it, Jason. I'd let these comments slide, telling myself they were innocent observations rather than comparisons. But standing there in that resort lobby, exhausted from travel and suddenly feeling like my carefully planned gift wasn't good enough, I couldn't ignore it anymore. "Let me fix that." I said with a calmness that surprised even me. What? No, seriously, this is fine. Give me a minute. I walked back to the front desk, leaving Vanessa with our luggage. The same friendly clerk looked up at me with a smile. I'd like to make some changes to our reservation, I said. Of course, sir. What can I help you with? I'd like to cancel my stay and request a refund. Her smile faltered. Is there a problem with the room? No, the room is exactly as advertised. I just won't be needing it anymore. She looked confused, but began typing on her computer. Sir, I should mention our cancellation policy does include some penalties. I have travel insurance that covers cancellations, I explained, pulling up the policy on my phone. I understand there might be some paperwork, but I'd like to start the process. She looked relieved at this information and continued typing. It should take 2 to 3 business days for the refund to process through your insurance, but I can cancel the reservation now. While she processed the cancellation, I pulled out my phone and opened the airline app. I'd already checked flights earlier that day, old habit from my backpacking days. Always know your exits. There was a first-class seat available on a flight to Seattle, departing at 9 p.m., about 5 hours from now. The cost was more than the refund I'd eventually get, but my credit card could handle it. This was worth it that I booked the ticket and turned back to the clerk, who was now printing my cancellation confirmation. Could you recommend a good place to get a drink nearby? Somewhere off the resort. And is there any chance the Bell staff could store my luggage for a few hours until I head to the airport? She looked briefly puzzled but stayed professional. Of course, sir. The Bell desk can hold your luggage. I'd recommend the Tiki Hut bar, about half a mile down the beach. Great sunset views. I thanked her, arranged for my luggage to be held, and walked back to Vanessa, who looked both confused and annoyed. What's going on? Did you upgrade us? Not exactly. I handed her the cancellation slip. I canceled our stay. Her face cycled through 5 emotions in 3 seconds. You what? Why would you do that? Because I'm going home tonight. I've already booked my flight. This is a joke, right? Because of what I said? Come on, I didn't mean anything by it. I took a breath. It's not just what you said, Vanessa. It's what you've been saying for months. I'm tired of being compared to Jason. I'm tired of feeling like I'm some downgrade you settled for. So, I'm removing myself from the equation. You can't be serious. You're going to ruin our entire vacation over one comment. It wasn't one comment, Vanessa. It was the last comment. I pulled out $300 in cash I'd brought for emergencies. Here, this should help until you sort things out. Stay. Enjoy Hawaii. But I'm done. She stared at the money like it might bite her. Keep your money. I can pay for my own room. I know you can. That's not the point. Then what is the point? To punish me? To make some grand gesture? The point is self-respect. Something I've apparently been short on lately. I didn't wait for her reply. I asked the Bell staff to hold my bags, confirm my details, and headed for the exit, stopping only to ask for directions to the Tiki Hut bar. The place was exactly what I needed. Laid back, open air, with ocean views and strong drinks in ridiculous mugs. I found a corner table, ordered something with too many umbrellas, and finally let myself process what had just happened at him. My phone started buzzing 30 minutes later. Vanessa, of course. I declined a call. Then another. And another. Text followed. This is childish, that you're seriously leaving me in Hawaii? Please come back so we can talk. The resort is fully booked and nearby hotels are $500 plus per night. That last one made me pause. I hadn't considered that. But then another text came. The manager is helping me find a room at another hotel. I can't believe you're doing this to me. And there it was. Even now, I was still the villain in her story that I ordered another drink and put my phone on silent. A few hours later, I took a cab to the airport, retrieved my luggage, checked in, and settled into the first-class lounge. I'd never flown first class before. The closest had been economy plus on a Denver work trip. But sometimes you have to treat yourself, especially when your anniversary trip implodes this hard as boarding time neared. I finally checked my phone. 17 missed calls, dozens of texts that went from angry to pleading to vaguely threatening. The last one read, I've booked a room at the Hyatt. Much nicer than your choice anyway. Call me when you stop being ridiculous. That I didn't respond. I turned off my phone completely as I boarded. The flight attendant welcomed me by name and offered champagne. I accepted, settled into a seat wider than some couches I've owned, and felt a strange calm settle in. Somewhere over the Pacific, it hit me. I was relieved, not just to escape the situation, but because the relationship was finally over. It felt like dropping a weight I didn't know I'd been carrying. I landed in Seattle at some ungodly hour, took a rideshare home, and slept for 12 hours straight. When I woke up, there were even more missed calls and messages, including some from mutual friends who'd clearly gotten Vanessa's version. Dude, you left her in Hawaii? Mark, Vanessa said you had some kind of breakdown and abandoned her at the hotel. Sir, I didn't reply right away. I made coffee, sat on my back deck, and just enjoyed being home. The peace was worth it. That evening, I finally texted Vanessa. I'm home safe. I think we both know this relationship isn't working. I'll pack up your things from my place. Let me know when you're back and want to collect them. Her reply came almost instantly. So that's it. One comment, and you throw everything away. I started typing a long reply, but stopped. What was the point? She either understood why her words hurt or she didn't. Nothing I said would change that. So I just wrote. It wasn't just one comment. I wish you the best, Vanessa, but this is the right decision for me. Then I blocked her number. The next few days were quiet. I went back to work, told my boss a relationship situation, cut my vacation short, and packed up Vanessa's things. I told friends the short version, no sides needed. Some understood. Others thought I overreacted. Mark, after hearing the full story, said, "Man, I'd have left her at the airport. You're a gentleman." When Vanessa came back 5 days later, she tried to reach me through friends, but I declined. I arranged for her to pick up her things with Mark present, just to avoid drama. She showed up with her own friend and, according to Mark, tried to take a framed photo of my grandfather. When he stopped her, she had a meltdown. Then she left. It's been 3 weeks. Was leaving her in Hawaii dramatic? Definitely. Could I have handled it better? Maybe. Do I regret it? Not all. Sometimes relationships don't end with a fight. They end with a comment that finally makes you see the truth that I've heard Vanessa's been telling people I couldn't handle a strong woman, or that I faked the trip because I couldn't afford it. Classic Vanessa. Reality shaped to fit her version. Then last weekend, something unexpected happened. A woman at a brewery came up to me. Claire, Jason's girlfriend. She thanked me for standing up to Vanessa. Jason had gone through the same constant comparisons and manipulation. Hearing what I'd done apparently helped him finally move on too. Now, life's come again. The insurance covered most of my costs. I've rebuilt my savings, and I've discovered how good peace feels. Even the blocked caller tone on my phone sounds like freedom now. Next time I go to Hawaii, and there will be a next time, I'll book the platinum package. Not to prove anything, but because I've learned that investing in yourself is never wasted. Maybe one day, I'll meet someone who appreciates both the journey and the company. No comparisons required. Until then, I'm enjoying the space that comes from not being measured against someone else's past. It's a freeing kind of quiet, like stretching out in a first-class seat after years of flying coach. Edit. Holy crap, this blew up. A few quick clarifications. 1. Yes, Vanessa found a hotel. The resort manager helped her get a room at the Hyatt down the road. She stayed the full week, based on the beach photos Sarah showed me later. Point 2. No, she didn't sleep in a lobby or on the beach. She's resourceful, had a platinum card, and was perfectly fine. Point 3. For those calling me the jerk for stranding her, she's an adult fluent in English, with money and a working phone. I didn't abandon her. I removed myself from a toxic situation. Point 4. Yes, I really did fly first class. It cost more than what I got back, but it was worth it. Sometimes you just need to treat yourself. Point 5. No, this isn't a pattern. I don't make dramatic exits for fun. Hopefully this was the first and last time. Update, 6 months later. Life is good. The Hawaii situation made me reevaluate a lot, especially how I tend to avoid conflict to keep the peace. Turns out there's a difference between being easygoing and being a doormat, a line I've been dancing on for years. Vanessa didn't disappear completely. About a month later, she showed up at my house unannounced. She said I'd embarrassed her and left her stranded. I reminded her Kauai is part of the U.S. and that she stayed at the Hyatt. She said she came to give me a chance to apologize. I told her I didn't want another chance. I wasn't happy, and she needed to understand why her constant comparisons were hurtful.